You know what nobody tells you about confidence? It's not what you think it is. It's not walking into a room with your chest puffed out. It's not the fake smile you practice in the mirror. And it's definitely not the mask you wear every single day hoping nobody sees through it. Real confidence, unstoppable confidence, it's something else entirely. And here's the truth that's going to sting. Most of you don't have it. Most of you are walking around thinking you're confident when really you're just one comment away from crumbling, one rejection away from questioning everything, one bad day away from losing yourself completely. Let me ask you something. And I want you to be honest with yourself right now. When was the last time someone said something about you, something small, maybe even meaningless, and it completely derailed your entire day? When was the last time you checked your phone, saw a message, and felt your stomach drop? When was the last time you walked away from a conversation, replaying every word you said, torturing yourself over how you might have sounded? That's not confidence. That's survival, and you've been surviving for so long, you forgot what it feels like to actually live. Here's what's really happening. You've built your entire sense of self on other people's opinions. Every morning you wake up and you're not checking in with yourself. You're checking in with everyone else. Did they like my post? Did they respond to my text? Do they think I'm smart enough, attractive enough, successful enough? You've turned yourself into a puppet and you've handed the strings to everyone around you. And the worst part, you don't even realize you're doing it anymore. It's become so automatic, so ingrained in who you are that you think, this is just how life works. You think everyone lives like this, constantly performing, constantly adjusting, constantly reacting to every little thing that happens around them. But they don't. There are people right now, people who might have less than you, who might not be as naturally talented as you, who are walking through this world completely untouchable. Not because they're arrogant, not because they don't care about anything, but because they've discovered something you haven't yet. They've learned how to react to nothing. Think about that for a second. React to nothing. What does that even mean? It sounds impossible, doesn't it? Because your entire life has been one long reaction. Someone disrespects you, you react. Someone rejects you, you react. Someone succeeds while you're struggling, you react. You're living in constant response mode, constantly being pulled in every direction by forces outside your control. And you're exhausted. God, you're so tired. Tired of caring so much what everyone thinks. Tired of second guessing yourself. Tired of feeling like you're not enough. Like you'll never be enough. Like no matter what you do, it's never going to matter. Because someone somewhere is going to judge you for it anyway. I know this feeling. I know it because I lived it. I remember the version of me that would rehearse conversations before they happened. The version that would lie awake at night, replaying moments from 3 years ago, cringing at myself, wishing I could go back and do it differently. I remember checking my reflection constantly. Not because I was vain, but because I was terrified. Terrified that someone would see the real me and decide I wasn't worth their time. You want to know the moment everything changed for me? It wasn't when I suddenly became perfect. It wasn't when I achieved some massive success or when everyone finally liked me. It was when I realized something so simple it almost felt stupid. None of it mattered, not the way I thought it did. The opinions, the judgments, the endless mental torture I was putting myself through, it was all happening in my head. The prison I was living in, I built it myself. Every bar, every lock, every chain, I put them there. And the craziest part, the door was never even locked. But here's where most people get it wrong. When they hear react to nothing, they think it means become cold, become numb, stop caring about anything. Build walls so high that nothing can hurt you. And that's not it at all. That's not confidence. That's hiding. That's just another form of fear dressed up as strength. Real confidence, the kind that makes you truly unstoppable. It's not about not caring. It's about caring so deeply about the right things that the wrong things lose their power over you. It's about being so grounded in who you are that other people's storms can't shake your foundation. Let me tell you what happened. There was this moment. I was sitting in my car after a meeting where I'd completely embarrassed myself. I'd said something stupid, stumbled over my words, and I could see it in their faces. That look of judgment, that subtle shift in how they saw me. And I sat there in that parking lot doing what I always did, mentally destroying myself, replaying it over and over, imagining what they were probably saying about me right now. And then something snapped. Not in a dramatic way, more like a whisper in my head that said, what if you just stopped? What if you just stopped giving this moment more power than it deserves? What if you just stopped letting every little thing define your worth? That was the beginning of understanding that confidence isn't about being perfect. It's about being unshakable when you're not. It's not about never failing. It's about failing and not letting it penetrate your core. It's not about everyone liking you. It's about being so solid in yourself that you don't need them to. But getting there, that's the journey. And it's not easy, because right now you're addicted. You're addicted to the validation. You're addicted to the approval. You're addicted to that little hit of dopamine you get when someone likes your post, compliments your outfit, tells you you're doing a good job. And like any addiction, it's slowly killing you. Every time you check for that validation, you're reinforcing the belief that you need it. Every time you adjust yourself to make someone else comfortable, you're teaching yourself that who you really are isn't acceptable. Every time you react to someone's opinion of you, you're giving them ownership of your peace. And here's the brutal truth nobody wants to hear. Most of the people whose opinions you're obsessing over, they're not even thinking about you. They're too busy worrying about what you think of them. Everyone's walking around trapped in their own heads, terrified of judgment. And ironically, they're all judging each other. It's insane when you really look at it. It's like everyone's holding a mirror up to everyone else, desperately hoping to see themselves reflected back as acceptable. You know what the most confident people have figured out? They figured out that this whole game is rigged. There's no winning. If you try to please everyone, you'll please no one, including yourself. If you try to be everything to everyone, you'll be nothing to yourself. The only way out is to stop playing entirely. But stopping, that's where it gets scary. Because when you stop playing the game, when you stop reacting, when you stop letting external forces control your internal state, you have to face yourself. And for most people, that's the most terrifying thing in the world. Who are you when nobody's watching? Who are you when there's no one to impress, no one to perform for, no one whose approval you're seeking? Most people don't know. They've been performing for so long they've forgotten there's a real person underneath the act. And that's the pain we need to talk about. The deep aching pain of not knowing yourself, of having spent years, maybe decades, being whoever you thought you needed to be to survive, to be loved, to be accepted, and realizing you have no idea who you actually are. I see you, the power of reacting to nothing, sitting there right now. And I know some of you are feeling it. That tightness in your chest, that recognition, that voice whispering, he's talking about me. And you're right. I am, because I was you. Because most people are you. Walking around pretending they have it together, while inside they're crumbling, fragmenting, losing pieces of themselves every single day to the endless demands of other people's expectations. You've been shrinking yourself, making yourself smaller so other people feel bigger, dimming your light so you don't outshine anyone, playing it safe so you don't risk rejection. And in the process, you become a ghost of who you were meant to be. But here's what I need you to understand. And this is where everything starts to shift. The version of you that you're afraid to be, the one that's too loud, too weird, too much, too ambitious, too different, that's not the mistake. That's not the thing you need to fix. That version is your truth. And every moment you spend suppressing it, you're dying a little bit inside. The confidence you're searching for, it's not out there. It's not in the perfect body, the perfect job, the perfect relationship, the perfect number of followers. It's not in finally getting everyone to like you or finally proving the doubters wrong. It's in the courage to stop abandoning yourself for other people's comfort. Think about how much energy you spend every single day managing other people's perceptions of you, crafting the perfect text message, choosing the right outfit, saying the right thing, being the right amount of everything. Confident but not arrogant, ambitious but not threatening, present but not needy. It's exhausting and it's unsustainable. And somewhere along the way, you lost the plot. You forgot that the only person you need to show up for is you. You forgot that the only approval that actually matters is your own. You forgot that you were born with everything you needed to be enough. And somewhere along the way, you let the world convince you that you weren't. This is the awakening. This is the moment where you realize you've been playing a game you can never win. following rules that were designed to keep you small, seeking validation from people who are just as lost as you are. This is where you understand that the path to unstoppable confidence isn't about adding more to yourself. It's about stripping away everything that isn't actually you. And that stripping away, that's not a gentle process. That's not some weekend workshop where you write in a journal and suddenly you're healed. That's a demolition. That's looking at everything you've built, every defense mechanism, every mask, every carefully constructed version of yourself, and having the guts to tear it all down. Because here's what nobody tells you about transformation. It's not comfortable. It's not pretty. It doesn't happen in a single moment of clarity while you're watching a sunset. It happens in the dark. It happens when you're alone with yourself and there's nowhere left to hide. It happens when you finally get so tired of your own excuses that you'd rather face the pain of change than continue living the pain of staying the same. So, let me ask you something. Are you ready for that? Are you actually ready to do the work? Or are you just here looking for another motivational high, another hit of inspiration that'll last about 3 days before you slip back into your old patterns? Because I'm not here to make you feel good. I'm here to tell you the truth. And the truth is this: becoming unstoppable, learning to react to nothing, building that unshakable confidence. It's going to require you to become someone you've never been before. It's going to demand a level of discipline you've never maintained. It's going to ask you to make choices that will make you uncomfortable every single day. And most people won't do it. Most people will read this, feel inspired for a moment, and then go right back to checking their phone for validation, right back to overthinking every interaction, right back to letting their peace be determined by everyone except themselves. But you're still here. Something in you is different. Something in you knows that you can't keep living like this. So, let me show you how this actually works. The first thing you need to understand is that confidence isn't a feeling you wait for. It's a decision you make despite the feeling. Every single morning you wake up and you decide that today your worth is not up for negotiation. Today other people's opinions are just noise. Today you're going to show up as yourself fully, completely, unapologetically, and whatever happens, happens. You know what that looks like in real life. It looks like your hands shaking as you speak your truth anyway. It looks like your heart pounding as you set a boundary anyway. It looks like every part of you screaming to check if they responded, to see if they liked it, to make sure you're still acceptable, and you don't. You sit with that discomfort. You breathe through that anxiety. You let it be there without letting it control you. This is the discipline, not the discipline of doing more, achieving more, becoming more. The discipline of being still. The discipline of not reacting. The discipline of watching your mind try to pull you back into old patterns and choosing differently. I want you to imagine something with me. Imagine your mind as a wild horse. For years, maybe your entire life, this horse has been running wherever it wants. Someone says something critical, the horse bolts toward self-doubt. Someone doesn't text back, the horse sprints toward anxiety. Someone succeeds while you're struggling, the horse charges toward comparison and inadequacy. You've just been holding on for dear life, getting dragged wherever this horse decides to go. Becoming confident, truly confident, is learning to train that horse. And the training doesn't happen by being nice to it. It happens by taking the reins, by saying, no, we're not going there. By redirecting over and over and over again, until new paths are formed, until new patterns emerge, until the horse starts to understand that you're in control. Now, here's what this looks like practically. Someone says something that would normally wreck your day. You feel that familiar pull, the urge to obsess over it, to defend yourself, to let it consume your thoughts. And instead of following that pull, you pause. You notice it. You say to yourself, there's that pattern again. And you choose differently. You redirect. You remind yourself, their opinion of me is not my reality. Their judgment of me is not my truth. Their words have no power unless I give them power. And then you move on. Not because you don't care, not because it doesn't hurt, but because you've decided that your peace is worth more than your need to be right. Your stability is worth more than your need to be understood. Your freedom is worth more than your need to be liked. This is where most people fail. They think it's a one-time decision. They think they'll wake up one day and suddenly they'll be this new person who doesn't care what anyone thinks. But that's not how it works. This is a battle you fight every single day, multiple times a day. Every time that old pattern tries to pull you back, you have to make the choice again and again and again. The first week is hell. Your mind will revolt against this new way of being. It'll give you every reason why you should care what they think, why you should check that message, why you should explain yourself, why you should adjust who you are to make them comfortable. Your mind has been running the same program for years. It's not going to give up control without a fight, but you keep choosing, you keep redirecting, you keep reminding yourself who you're becoming. And slowly, painfully slowly, something starts to shift. You start to notice moments where, breaking the addiction to validation, your first instinct isn't to seek validation. Moments where criticism rolls off you instead of penetrating. Moments where you catch yourself about spiral and you stop it before it starts. These moments are small at first, so small you might miss them. But they're evidence that you're rewiring, evidence that you're changing, evidence that this is actually working. And this is where the strategy comes in. Because this isn't just about willpower. This isn't about white-knuckling your way through life hoping you can resist every urge to seek approval. This is about building systems, creating environments, designing your life in a way that supports who you're becoming instead of who you've been. You need to start auditing everything, and I mean everything. Who are you spending time with? Are they building you up or tearing you down? Are they encouraging your growth or keeping you comfortable in your old patterns? Because here's the harsh reality. Some people in your life are invested in you staying exactly as you are. Your growth threatens them. Your confidence makes them uncomfortable. Your refusal to play small anymore challenges their choice to stay small. You're gonna have to make some hard decisions. Some relationships won't survive your transformation. Some friendships will fade. Some people will resist the new you because they preferred the version they could control. And that's going to hurt. But you know what hurts more? Spending the rest of your life shrinking yourself to maintain relationships that require you to be less than you are. Let me tell you about the real test. The real test isn't how you handle the big moments, the major rejections, the public failures, the obvious attacks. The real test is how you handle the small things. The subtle dig disguised as concern. The passive-aggressive comment. The little moment where someone tries to make you feel inferior. Those are the moments that reveal whether you've truly changed or whether you're just pretending. When someone tries to diminish you and you feel that familiar surge of defensiveness and you breathe through it. When you feel the urge to prove yourself, to explain, to justify, and you don't. When you smile knowing your worth and simply move on without needing them to understand, that's when you know you're becoming unstoppable. But getting there requires you to become obsessed with your own mind. You need to start watching your thoughts like a scientist studying a specimen, not judging them, not fighting them, just observing. Oh, there's that thought again. There's that pattern. There's that old programming trying to run. Most people are unconscious. They let thoughts run through their mind unchecked, believing everything their brain tells them. Someone doesn't invite them to something, and their brain says they don't like you and they just believe it. They fail at something and their brain says you're not good enough and they accept it as truth. They see someone more successful and their brain says you'll never make it, and they let that story become their reality. You need to become the gatekeeper of your own mind. Not every thought that enters deserves your attention. Not every fear that surfaces deserves your belief. Not every doubt that whispers deserves your agreement. You start questioning everything. Is that true? Is that actually true, or is that just an old story I've been telling myself? Is that reality, or is that just my perception filtered through fear and insecurity? This interrogation of your own thoughts. This is where the real work happens, because you've been operating on autopilot for so long, running programs that were installed years ago by people who had no business programming you. Your parents' fears, your teachers' limitations, your peers' insecurities, society's expectations, all of it got downloaded into your operating system, and you've been running that outdated software ever since. Now you're doing a complete reinstall, and it's messy. It's uncomfortable. There are going to be days where you feel like you're going backwards, days where you catch yourself falling into old patterns, and you feel like all this work has been for nothing. Those days are the most important ones. Those are the days that determine whether you actually transform or whether you just dabble in transformation before retreating to familiar dysfunction. Here's what you do on those days. You show up anyway. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to never mess up. You just need to keep choosing, keep redirecting, keep reminding yourself that this is a process, not an event. Every time you catch yourself seeking validation and you stop, that's a win. Every time you feel the urge to react and you pause instead, that's a win. Every time you choose your peace over someone else's perception, that's a win. Stack those wins, build that evidence, create a track record of moments where you chose differently, because eventually those moments become minutes. Those minutes become hours. Those hours become days. And suddenly you realize you've gone an entire week without obsessing over what someone thinks of you. An entire month without letting someone else's mood determine yours. An entire year without compromising who you are for acceptance. And that's when you start to feel it. That unshakable foundation, that inner stability that doesn't fluctuate based on external circumstances. That's when you walk into a room and you're not scanning for approval. You're not adjusting your energy to match everyone else. You're not performing. You're just there, present, solid, grounded in yourself. People feel that. They don't know what it is, but they feel it. It's magnetic. It's powerful. It's the kind of confidence that doesn't need to announce itself, because it's so deeply rooted in who you are that it emanates from every cell of your being. But let me be clear about something. This doesn't mean you become arrogant. This doesn't mean you become dismissive of others or cold or uncaring. True confidence is actually humble. It's secure enough to admit mistakes, strong enough to apologize, grounded enough to listen. The difference is that you're doing these things from a place of choice, not a place of fear. You're apologizing because it's right, not because you're terrified they won't like you if you don't. You're listening because you value connection, not because you're desperately seeking approval. There's a specific practice that changes everything. Every morning before you check your phone, before you engage with the outside world, you sit with yourself just 5 minutes and you set your intention for the day. Not goals, not tasks, your intention for who you're going to be. Today I choose my peace over people's perceptions. Today I choose authenticity over approval. Today I choose to show up as myself regardless of how it's received. You say this to yourself out loud if you can. You let it sink into your bones. You feel what it would be like to actually live this way today. And then you go out and do it. You test it. You practice it. In every interaction, every decision, every moment where you feel that pull toward old patterns, you come back to that intention. And at night, you review, not to judge yourself, not to beat yourself up for every moment you slipped, but to observe, where did I react when I didn't need to? Where did I seek validation? Where did I compromise myself? Not with shame, with curiosity, with compassion, with a commitment to do better tomorrow. This daily practice, this is how you rewire your brain. This is how you build new neural pathways. This is how you become someone who genuinely doesn't need external validation, because you've built such a strong relationship with yourself that nothing external can shake it. You start to notice something interesting happens. The things that used to destroy you, rewiring your mind, the demolition, they start to bounce off. Someone's criticism that would have consumed your thoughts for days. You consider it. Take what's useful, discard what isn't, and move on in minutes. Someone's rejection that would have made you question your worth. You understand it's about compatibility, not value, and you keep moving. Someone's success that would have made you feel inadequate. You genuinely celebrate it because their win doesn't diminish yours. This is what reacting to nothing actually means. It doesn't mean you don't feel. It doesn't mean you don't care. It means you don't let external events determine your internal state. You feel the feeling, you acknowledge it, you process it, and then you choose who you're going to be in response to it. Most people are completely at the mercy of their circumstances. Good thing happens, they're up. Bad thing happens, they're down. Someone likes them, they feel worthy. Someone doesn't, they feel worthless. They're on an emotional roller coaster, and they wonder why they're always exhausted. It's because they've given the remote control of their emotional state to everyone and everything except themselves. You're taking that remote control back. You're saying, my peace is mine. My worth is mine. My confidence is mine, and I'm not renting it out to anyone anymore. Not to the person who criticized me. Not to the opportunity that rejected me. Not to the relationship that didn't work out. Not to the goal I haven't achieved yet. None of it gets to determine how I feel about myself. But here's where it gets really challenging, because you have to do this even when things are actually bad, even when you genuinely failed, even when you made a mistake, even when things didn't go the way you wanted. That's when this practice is tested for real. Because it's easy to be confident when everything's going well. It's easy to not react to nothing when there's nothing happening. The real test is when life punches you in the face, when you experience real loss, real failure, real pain. Can you still choose your response? Can you still maintain your center? Can you still remember who you are even when circumstances are screaming at you that you're not enough? This is the crucible. This is where unstoppable confidence is forged, not in the moments of victory, but in the moments of defeat. In the moments when everything in you wants to quit. When every external indicator is telling you you're not good enough. When the evidence seems overwhelming that you should just give up and go back to who you were. That's when you plant your feet. That's when you look at everything falling apart around you and you say, this doesn't define me. This doesn't control me. This is happening to me, but it's not happening in me. And something shifts in that moment, something fundamental, because you realize that you've been carrying around this belief your entire life that you need things to go right in order to be okay, that you need people to approve of you in order to be worthy, that you need external validation in order to feel confident. And in that moment of choosing yourself, despite the circumstances, you prove to yourself that none of that was ever true. You were always okay. You were always worthy. You were always enough. You just couldn't see it because you were too busy looking outside yourself for proof. This is the breakthrough. Not the moment everything gets easy. Not the moment you suddenly have all the answers. But the moment you realize you don't need everything to be easy. You don't need all the answers. You just need to trust yourself enough to figure it out as you go. You need to believe in yourself enough to keep moving even when the path isn't clear. And here's what starts happening. When you operate from this place, everything changes. Not externally at first. Externally, things might look exactly the same. But internally, you're a completely different person. You walk into the same rooms, but you're not the same person walking in. You have the same conversations, but you're not coming from the same place. You face the same challenges, but you're responding from a completely different level of consciousness. People notice. They don't always know what's different, but they feel it. Some are drawn to it. Some are threatened by it. Some don't know what to do with this new version of you because they've become comfortable with the old one. And that's okay, because you're not doing this for them anymore. You're doing this for you. Let me paint you a picture of what this actually looks like. You wake up in the morning, and instead of immediately reaching for your phone to see what you missed, to check what people are saying, to scroll through other people's lives, you just sit there in the quiet with yourself. And it doesn't feel lonely anymore. It doesn't feel like something's missing. It feels peaceful, whole, complete. You get ready for your day, and you're not obsessing over every detail of how you look, running through scenarios of who you might see and what they might think. You just exist. You just are. And there's a lightness to it that you forgot was possible. You walk into work, into school, into wherever. You go and someone says something trying to get under your skin. Maybe it's subtle, a backhanded compliment, a little dig disguised as a joke. And instead of spending the next 3 hours dissecting what they meant, getting angry, planning your comeback, you smile. Not a fake smile. Not a smile hiding your hurt, but a genuine smile, because you understand something they don't. Their words only have the power you give them, and you're not giving them any. You move through your day, and you start to notice how much energy you have now. Energy you used to spend worrying, overthinking, seeking approval, managing perceptions. Unstoppable confidence is not something you suddenly wake up with one day. It's not a gift that only a few lucky people receive. It's a choice you make again and again, especially on the days when it feels hardest. It's the decision to stop handing your power to everyone around you and start taking responsibility for your own peace, your own worth, and your own identity. The truth is, the world will always have opinions. People will always judge, criticize, misunderstand, or doubt you. That will never stop. But your reaction to those things can stop controlling your life. When you learn to react to nothing that doesn't truly matter, you reclaim the energy that once drained you. You reclaim the clarity that overthinking once stole from you. And most importantly, you reclaim yourself. Real confidence is quiet. It doesn't scream for attention or validation. It simply exists, steady and unshaken. It's the ability to walk through life knowing that your value does not rise or fall based on someone else's opinion. It's the strength to keep moving forward even when things go wrong, even when people doubt you, even when the path feels uncertain. So from this moment forward, remember this: your peace is yours to protect, your worth is yours to define, and your confidence is built not by controlling the world around you, but by mastering the way you respond to it. Stop chasing approval. Stop shrinking to fit other people's expectations. Stop reacting to every little thing that tries to pull you off your path. Stand firm, stay grounded. And when the world tries to shake you, remember who you are. Because the moment you stop reacting to everything is the moment you become truly unstoppable.